Voting underway in Belarus's presidential election that observers project longtime leader Alexander Lukashenko is set to win.
Ukraine says it can supply Moldova with coal to keep the power on in Transnistria after a gas transit deal with Russia ends.
At least 15 people have been reportedly killed amid protests in southern Lebanon as Israeli forces remain after a withdrawal deadline. Polls are underway in Belarus in a presidential vote that analysts and observers expect will extend the reign of longtime leader Alexander Lukashenko. More than 5.3 thousand polling stations opened on Sunday for the election. According to the Central Election Commission, around 6.8 million eligible voters are expected to cast their ballot. The election is Belarus's first presidential vote since the unprecedented and deadly anti-government mass protests that followed the 2020 disputed election. The opposition and Western nations accused incumbent Belarusian leader Alexander Lukashenko of rigging the election and imposed sanctions. 5 candidates are currently taking part in this election, including Lukashenko, who cast his vote at a polling station in Minsk on Sunday morning. Observers project the 70-year-old, who has been ruling the country since 1994, to win a 7th five-year term after a campaign in which 4 token challengers have all praised his rule.
Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky says Kyiv can supply Moldova with coal to ensure its energy needs. Zelensky was speaking in Kyiv with his Moldovan counterpart Maya Sandu. His comments come after natural gas from Russia to Europe via Ukraine ended on the 1st of January after Kyiv refused to renew a transit agreement. Moldova's pro-Russia breakaway territory of Transnistria has been particularly hard hit by that decision. It was heavily dependent on Russian gas, and when that supply ended, so too did most industrial activity. Authorities in the region declared a state of emergency and implemented power cuts of up to 8 hours a day. Russia says it shut off the gas to Moldova because of an alleged €688 million debt for past supplies, an allegation that the Moldovan government has fiercely denied. Sandu accused Russia of a calculated strategy to create social and economic chaos. Israeli authorities say displaced Palestinians won't be allowed to return to northern Gaza until a civilian hostage held by Hamas is released. Israel said Arbel Yehud should have been released by Hamas this week. A senior official for the militant group said Yehud would be released next week, but gave no reasons for the apparent delay. Hundreds of Palestinians began gathering in central Gaza on Saturday, hoping to return to their homes in the north. The IDF withdrawing from populated areas to allow Palestinians to return home is one of the points agreed to in the ceasefire, which came into effect on the 19th of January. Another part of the deal is the exchange of Hamas hostages for Palestinian prisoners. On Saturday, the second such exchange took place when Hamas released Karina Ariev, Daniela Gilboa, Naama Levy and Liri Albag, all female Israeli soldiers. Hours later, 200 Palestinians were freed from Israeli prisons.
At least 15 people have been killed and more than 80 people injured in southern Lebanon after Israeli troops opened fire on protesters who had breached roadblocks that the army set up a day before the 60-day deadline to withdraw Israeli troops. According to Lebanon's health ministry, the demonstrators on Sunday attempted to enter several villages in the border area to protest Israel's failure to withdraw its troops. The Israeli military set up the roadblocks across border towns and roads in a strategic valley in southern Lebanon on Saturday. Israel has said it needs to stay longer because the Lebanese army has not deployed to all areas of the region as stipulated in a ceasefire deal that halted the Israel-Hezbollah war in late November. A day before the deadline, the UNIFIL peacekeeping forces' trip to border towns in southern Lebanon showed large swaths of the area destroyed from Israeli bombardments.